Womp, a car out of Womp. I pray this devil die and get every evil thing the Lord got to give. And listen, I know you look at us in the state we in right now. Come here, SHALAM. Come here, SHALAM. I know you look at us in the state we in right now, black people on drugs, and we suffering and dying. And I know it seems like you can do whatever you want to this people. I know it seems like this, but the time for glorifying yourself is soon at an end.
This is the problem. They don't teach you this anywhere. Don't you understand that abortion has been targeted at the black and Hispanic community? Abortion has its roots in eugenics. Eugenics is the idea that one race of people is inferior. Therefore, they created Planned Parenthood to destroy you. You understand that? And then what do? They go and get your leaders who sell out and change their stance on it. Compromise the truth of God for a little bit of money, for a little more time in the spotlight, to tell you that it's okay for you to kill your child. But that is not what it says in the scriptures. That is not what God allowed. Read what you got.
Psalms 127 verse 3. Lo, children are an heritage of the Lord.
Children are the Lord's inheritance, man. It's up to the Most High if you have a child or not. That's the deciding factor if you're going to have a child. If the Most High is going to make you barren or not. Or if He's going to bless you with some fruit. You understand that? And I know that we're in captivity. And I know times are hard. And that in a land where you're damn near living from check to check, a child which is supposed to be a blessing can feel like a curse, man. But let me tell you something. That's the Lord's inheritance. The Lord gave you that child. Who the hell are you to decide if you're going to murder it or not? To go inside an office and murder that child. We murder our children to the tune of $375,000 a year. That's genocide. And that's only the black woman. And this is the problem. Nobody corrects our sisters, man. Nobody charges them with these murders. But you know what? In an instant, you'll say, well, black on black crime, that's the black man. But if you take every single disease that killed black and Hispanics, if you take every single death from black on black crime, from incidental deaths, and you add all of them up from 73 till now, they don't put a dent in the amount of abortions that killed black people since 73. You know what that means? The black and Hispanic woman is the #1 murderer of their own people. And that's the problem, man. Nobody teaches you this. Nobody teaches you right from wrong. Because what? Because you thought that you could magnify a greater office than motherhood. Because you thought that you can go up inside the white man's office and you want to sacrifice your child to make some extra money at the end of the year. It's disgusting, man. And this is, once again, this is the #1 killer of our people. And how did it come about? I got a little article that we're going to read. Check this out.
Since becoming law in 1973, legal abortions have killed more African Americans than AIDS, cancer, diabetes, heart disease, and violent crimes combined.
What did I just tell you a moment ago? All of these have, if you add all of them up, it doesn't put a dent in the number. Read.
At one point, every week, more black people died in American abortion clinics than were killed in the entire Vietnam War.
So where war is going on, and people are dying in Vietnam, they were blowing people up with napalm, with bombs, with 50 caliber rifles. Now you're going to sit here and tell me that more black people have died than in a war? Because you don't understand the ghetto's a war zone. And you don't understand that all these nations are your enemies. You've been at war with them and you can't even see it. You can't even see it. You lost Harlem. That's a part of the warfare. You lost every business in Harlem. You don't own Sylvia's. You don't own Madden Soul Food. And now you're selling out your own children. Read.
The largest chain of abortion clinics in the United States is operated by Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood has a long and well-documented history of racism.
Of what?
Racism.
What does that mean? Meaning it was targeted to destroy you. And then they want to talk about Barack Obama. Barack Obama supports Planned Parenthood. They were trying to veto a bill. He was vetoing every bill that came through. What were they trying to do? They were trying to cut funding to Planned Parenthood. He stopped all that. He stopped all that. Meanwhile, Planned Parenthood is what? It has roots in racism. It has roots in destroying your children, in destroying your sister. You know how many sisters go and kill their child, and 10 years from now they're miserable because of it? They gotta live with that guilt. Read.
Beginning with its founder, Margaret Sanger.
Margaret Sanger is one of the most evil white women on the face of the earth. Her idea was, how can we eradicate the black and Hispanic population? Read.
And in America today, a black child is 3 times more likely to be killed in the womb than a white child.
Which is why they used to have a billboard. It used to say, the most dangerous place for a black child is in her mother's womb. Was it Al Sharpton or Jesse Jackson? It was Al Sharpton decided to have that billboard taken down. Decided to have that billboard taken down and withhold the truth from you. Because like I said, unfortunately, our women have become the #1 killer of our people. 8 weeks you have a heartbeat, man. Let me tell you the hypocrisy of America. They will fly to Mars. They will fly to a moon on Jupiter to find a bacteria to call that life. But that baby with a beating heart is not life. They will give you double homicide if you kill a pregnant woman. But you know what? That woman can murder her child and walk away scot-free. Walk away scot-free. For what? For her education she's probably not even going to pursue. For a job she's going to quit. For a Brazilian leave. For what? For an iPhone 6S you're going to murder your child.
We do not want word to go out that we want to exterminate the Negro population.
And this is a quote from Margaret Sanger. You understand that? But don't destroy your baby. But you know what? Go break an eagle egg. You're getting fed time. Go break a sea turtle egg. You'll get fed time and a $250,000 fine. You know what that means? A bird and an aquatic creature's life is worth more to America than a black or Hispanic child.
That's right.
Keep reading.
Margaret Sanger, founder of Planned Parenthood, 1939. As the founder of America's largest abortion chain, Margaret Sanger ideology for Planned Parenthood was cemented in eugenics.
Was cemented, was deeply rooted in eugenics. We're going to find out what eugenics is. I know they don't teach you this in the church because they're telling you you can abort your child. They don't teach you this in the mosque. They don't teach you this in the damn public school system. We're going to teach you this today, man. Read.
The belief and practice that aims to eliminate certain groups of people. Eugenics. Eugenists strongly espoused racial supremacy.
Racial supremacy. And what type of racial supremacy? White supremacy. You understand that? Planned Parenthood is deeply cemented in white supremacy to help further eradicate the black and Hispanic populations. Read.
And purity, particularly of the Aryan race.
What's the Aryan race? Blonde hair and blue eyes. Read.
Eugenists hope to purify the bloodlines and improve the race by encouraging the fit to reproduce and the unfit to restrict their reproduction.
And they consider you the unfit. But I want to know how. When meanwhile, if a white man wants to compete with you, he needs steroids. They can't deal with you on any level on a physical tip. When meanwhile, a white man by his own genetics is a damn inferior being. They call them recessive genes. Even in the Bible, blonde hair and blue eyes is leprosy. It's an uncleanness. You understand that? Hear that good. But they want to call you inferior. When God said that every black, Hispanic, and Native Indian were the greatest people on the face of the earth, You invented everything in America. You invented every form of music in the Western Hemisphere. You are the best dancers, best dressers, best athletes. What are you inferior to, man? I'll tell you where you lack. You lack loving your own people. That's where you're lacking. You're lacking in brotherhood. You're lacking in a moral conduct, a moral code of conduct.
They sought to contain the inferior races through segregation, sterilization, birth control, and abortion.
But you know what? After they segregated you, you became stronger. You had cities like Rosewood. You had cities like Black Wall Street, Tulsa, Oklahoma. You had a whole bunch of cities. What did they have to do? They destroyed them. Then after that, what'd you do? You segregated. Then after that, you integrated. After you integrated, what happens? In comes abortion. You understand that? Before civil rights, the black and Hispanic woman was not aborting their children at that number. I promise you that.
That's right.
What happened? No way. Keep reading.
Francis Galton was an Englishman who came from a family that became very wealthy from slave labor.
Francis Galton, this right here is the father of the term eugenics. He is the world's first eugenicist. He coined this term. And you know what? He was a slave owner. Just like the forefathers of America, just like George Washington, just like all the people that they idolized. Just like they celebrated Columbus Day the other day. When Columbus was a murderer, was a damn pirate. He raped children. He massacred an entire nation of people for gold.
He is the father of eugenics and coined the term in 1883. In order to promote the idea of eugenics, a eugenic society was formed.
They have an entire society which sits here and says, how can we destroy the black and Hispanics? How can we get them to destroy themselves?
It galvanized the social movement that began in America with the sole intent of wiping out the black population, the black population, through selective breeding and sterilization.
And you have no idea how many times they've sterilized your women without their consent. Just like they did it in Puerto Rico. They did it there too. Just like they did in South America.
In secret, it played a significant role in the culture of the United States prior to its involvement in World War II. Today, it's more recognizable, and institutions like Planned Parenthood are advancing the eugenics movement against the black community.
And like I said, even Barack Obama was against you in that. That they tried cutting funding to Planned Parenthood, and he vetoed every bill that came his way. Wouldn't let nobody take away from their funding.
I do not join in the belief that the African is our equal in brain or in heart. I do not think that the average Negro cares for his liberty as much as an Englishman or as a self-born Russian.
And you know what? That's how sad that is, because in America, you became a homeborn slave. You're comfortable with your condition. You're comfortable with not having your own language, with not having your own culture, with not having your own land, your own military, your own utilities.
And I believe that if we can, in any fair way, possess ourselves of his services, we have an equal right to utilize them to our advantage.
He's saying we have a right to enslave you. We have a right to run tests on you. We have a right to kill your children, and you should do nothing about it.
Francis Galton. As a eugenist, Sandra encouraged the sterilization of persons with less desirable qualities and strongly encouraged the reproduction of groups with more desirable quality.
Meanwhile, these white women today are getting butt injections trying to look like you. They're going tanning. Who do you think keeps the tanning salon open? They're getting lip injections, trying to look like you. But then they say your genetics are inferior.
Sandra's disdain for blacks, minority groups, and the diseased and disabled spawned the birth of an abortion corporation that profits off the killing of the weakest and most vulnerable.
Every single time you abort your children, you're making another nation rich. You're making the devil in this earth rich off killing your own children. Just like every time you commit a crime and you end up in the prison system, you're making them rich off the privatization of the prison system. Then you'll end up working for Whole Foods for 74 cents a day. Read.
From its conception, Planned Parenthood was built upon the roots of exterminating individuals deemed unfit for the human family.
And who's that? AKA every black and Hispanic. Read.
In a letter to Dr. Clarence Gamble in December 1939, Sanger exposited her vision for the Negro Project, a freshly launched collaboration between the American Birth Control League and Sanger's Birth Control Clinical Research Bureau.
And what were those? Those were precursors for Planned Parenthood. That's what Planned Parenthood was before it evolved into that chain of abortion clinics throughout the ghetto, across the country.
Right.
Read.
The letter echoes the eugenic ideology still visible within the corporate vein of Planned Parenthood today. It seems to me, from my experience, that while the colored Negroes have great respect for white doctors, they can get closer to their own members.
So this is what they said. We need to find sellouts. We need to find people who look just like them to sell this idea, to sell this agenda. Because they won't trust the white doctor. And you never should. We should have our own doctors, our own lawyers, our own schools. Read.
And more or less lay their cards on the table, which mean their ignorance, superstitions, and doubts.
And that's the problem, man. That's the problem. We're so damn religious in America. You worried about symbols. I'm talking to somebody the other day. They're worried that there was a star on the floor saying that's satanic. Let me tell you something. That white image of Jesus Christ is satanic. Halloween is satanic. Christmas is satanic. You understand that? And abortion is satanic. That's satanic. That goes against God. Read.
We should hire 3 or 4 colored ministers, preferably with social service backgrounds and with engaging personality.
This is your Al Sharptons. This is your Farrakhan's. This is all your leadership out there. You understand that? Leaders with engaging personalities. But what do they tell you? They tell you that a woman has a choice if she's going to kill her child or not. Read.
The most successful education approach to the Negro is through a religious appeal.
It's through your religious appeal. This is why your Christian leaders have no problem with you killing your babies. This is why your Muslim leaders have no problem with you killing your babies. Read.
The article published in the Birth Control Review showed Sanger's empathy with some eugenist views. Margaret Sanger worked closely with W.E.B. Du Bois.
And W.E.B. Du Bois, this was supposed to be the founder of the NAACP. The same NAACP who had a white woman as the president of one of her chapters. The same NAACP whose president in another chapter just got arrested for dealing and trafficking cocaine to your communities. Read.
On her Negro Project, an effort to expose Southern black women to birth control.
So aborting your child to making sure that you don't reproduce. Read.
Mary McLeod Bethune and Adam Clayton Powell Jr.
And who?
Adam Clayton Powell Jr.
You mean the same man that they named the street after around the corner? Yeah, that's right. Adam Clayton Powell Jr. Another one of your damn cool leaders who decided to teach you to murder your children. Read.
Were also involved in the effort. Much later, Dr. Martin Luther King.
Who?
Dr. Martin Luther King.
Who?
Dr. Martin Luther King.
The biggest sellout in all of Negrodom. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. You understand that? Was behind letting you abort your children. I told you before civil rights, you weren't aborting your children to the tune of $400,000 a year. But you know what? You see him. You see him speaking with a powerful voice and engaging, and you say, I'll follow that man. You'll follow that dreamer, that false dreamer who put you asleep. He told you his dream and it became a nightmare for you, man. Read.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. accepted an award.
A what?
An award.
A what?
An award.
Just like the NAACP weeks before gave an award to Donald Sterling right before he said he doesn't want no niggas coming to his arena. But he'll make money off him, won't he? Read.
From Planned Parenthood.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. accepted an award from them. He did such a good job. Read.
And complimented the organization's efforts. It is entirely possible that Sanders' views evolved over time. Certainly by the late 1940s, she spoke about ways to solve the Negro problem in the United States.
And how'd she do that? By saying, we'll get them to solve themselves. We'll teach them to destroy their children. We'll teach them that it's okay for you to abort your children. Read.
In the United States, this evolution, however commendable, does not eradicate the impact of her earlier statements. We don't want the word to go out that we want to exterminate the Negro population.
And that has been the entire agenda inside America. Keep you a slave, and when you grow too much, kill you. Read.
And the minister is the man who can straighten out.
Who?
The minister is the man who can straighten out.
And that's who they got. They got all your ministers, from Minister Farrakhan to T.D. Jakes, all of them, to sit there and say that it is okay that a woman has a choice, has a right to destroy her womb. Read.
The idea, if it ever occurs to any of their more rebellious members. Since 1973, abortion has reduced the black population by over 25%.
25% of your population has been reduced since 1973, and you only make up 12% of the population in America. Read.
Planned Parenthood operates the nation's largest chain of abortion clinics, and almost 80% of its facilities are located in minority neighborhoods.
Where?
Minority neighborhoods.
If the white woman was aborting her children at this rate, they would be burning them down everywhere. And they wouldn't call them thugs. They would call them revolutionaries. Read.
About 13% of American women are black, but they submit to over 35% of the abortions.
You hear that? Read those statistics and let this noise pass. Let this noise pass. Read that again.
Since 1973, abortion has reduced the black population by over 25%.
And they did this through the help of your leaders. They did this through the help of, once again, Al-Sharpton, taking down that billboard. Farrakhan, before 1 million people, saying that woman has a right to choose if she can murder her baby or not. When God said you got a choice, open or close your legs. That's your choice. Read.
Planned Parenthood operates the nation's largest chain of abortion clinics, and almost 80% of its facilities are located in minority neighborhoods.
Over 80% of them are located in your neighborhoods, man. Read.
About 13% of American women are black, but they submit to over 35% of the abortion.
400,000 abortions a year. Genocide. Read.
The high number is no accident. Many Americans, black and white, are unaware of Planned Parenthood founder Margaret Sager's Negro Project. Sager created this program in 1939 after the organization changed its name from the American Birth Control League to the Birth Control Federation of America.
And what was the purpose of this program? What was the purpose of Planned Parenthood being put in all your cities, in all your neighborhoods? Read.
The aim of the program was to restrict, many believe, exterminate the black population.
It was to kill you. It was to make sure that you wouldn't grow. And they tried to do this to us in Egypt, man. And America is nothing but spiritually Egypt. You understand? Now you take a look at that sign right there. You're going to see a comparison between our two captivities. Why do you think there's Egyptian pyramids on the dollar bill, man? Why do you think that there's an obelisk as the Washington Monument? Because they're letting you know George Washington was the first pharaoh of America. And just like that pharaoh in Egypt wanted the midwives to kill the Hebrew babies as they were born, Obama today, the current pharaoh, decided to fund Planned Parenthood and make sure that nobody can cut their funding.
Under the pretense of better health and family planning, Sandra cleverly implemented her plan. What's more shocking is Sandra's beguilement of Black America's creme de la creme, those prominent, well-educated and well-to-do into executing her scheme.
What does that mean? It means that she went to all your leaders who you looked up to and made sure that they would be on board too. Read.
Some within the black elite saw birth control as a means to attain economic empowerment, elevate the race, and garner the respect of white. The what? The respect of white.
And you know what? That's the problem, man. You wanted to love white people so much, that's why they don't respect you today. They don't, once again, they do not, hear this good, the police are not killing Arabs the way they kill Black and Hispanics. Because you respect the enemy. They've been at war with the Arabs since Desert Storm.
Right.
But you know what? They don't respect the slave. And every Black and Hispanic is a slave to the white man. They don't respect you. That's why they know they can kill you. And what are you going to do? We're going to march. We're going to march. And then we're going to go right back to being quiet. We're going to go right back to our daily lives, and nothing's going to matter anymore. You understand that? They know we're going to go make these false leaders rich, and then we're going to go right back to sitting home. That's what it boils down to. This is what they knew.
Population control has been a driving force in U.S. policy for well over a century. One of the examples of population control is the history of forced sterilization in Puerto Rico.
And where?
Puerto Rico.
Because the Puerto Ricans are your brothers, man. Every Black, Hispanic, Native Indian, man, woman, and child is your responsibility and your brother or sister, man.
Right. Spain ceded the island of Puerto Rico to the United States in 1898, putting Puerto Rico under tight U.S. control as a territory. Puerto Rico did not gain the right to democratically elect its own governor until 1947, and since then has made strides towards greater autonomy from the U.S.
And then you wonder why Puerto Rico's economy right now is completely destabilized.
The history of coercive population control policy in Puerto Rico begins with a superintendent of the U.S. Eugenics Record Office named Harry Laughlin.
Because eugenics, just as it's targeted in America, it was targeted in Puerto Rico. They were without letting the women know, they were sterilizing them, making sure they couldn't give birth to any more children.
Laughlin used a model eugenical sterilization law to implement the mandatory aid of the socially inadequate in 30 U.S. states and Puerto Rico. This overtly eugenic policy deliberately targeted groups of people for sterilization. Example, the feeble-minded, the insane, orphans, ne'er-do-wells. And
you know what? If you're supposed to be a leader of Black and Hispanics, that's who you're supposed to protect. You're supposed to protect the fatherless. You're supposed to protect the widows. You're supposed to protect the elderly. But you know what? What do they do in the Christian church? They eat off your mama. They eat off your auntie. Make themselves rich. Go buy planes and Rolls Royces and Rolexes and Benzes or helicopters or giant spinning crescent moons for their rooftop. But they don't put it back in your neighborhood.
And later inspired Hitler's forced sterilization program in Europe. Laughlin's model eugenic sterilization law spread throughout the United States between 1907 and the 1930s.
This is the point. Let me give you the entire synopsis of this speaking. The white man is the devil. You understand that? That's basically basically what every single camp speaking breaks down to. The white man is the devil the Bible speaks of. He's the one who created Planned Parenthood and came up with eugenics to destroy your communities and your neighborhood. And what does God have to say about this, man? Give me Isaiah 49 and 15. This is going out to every single woman, man. Hear this good. This is the problem. This is the issue. You're not supposed to be killing your children. And though you might forget, God is never going to forget what you did. Read.
Isaiah 49, verse 15. Can a woman forget her suckling child?
And it happens every day. Just the other day in the Bronx, you had a woman throw her baby out the 7th floor of her apartments. Read.
That she should not have compassion on...
She didn't have compassion for that child. She heard him crying and she went out of her mind. Why? Because there's no man in that house. Because the Christian church taught you to serve your woman. Or taught your woman not to listen to your man. You can kick him out. You can call 911 on him. Read.
That she should not have compassion on the son of her womb, yet they may forget.
Just because you might have forgotten. Read.
Yet will I not forget.
Let me tell you something, man. God did not forget when you murdered your child. Just like God did not forget that we were in slavery for over 400 years. He didn't forget about your ancestors. He didn't forget about Trayvon. He didn't forget about Akai Gurley. He didn't forget about any of these brothers who've been killed. You understand that? God got a memory passed a week ago. Drop that, man. Give me Job 39, start at 13. You can put the phone down. Yeah, I'll take that. Yeah, don't sweat that. I'm about to show you something, man. We actually not only go inside this Bible, we don't just walk around with it. We live it. We live this. And that's why none of this happens to us. That's why we don't have the issues that you have. Because we actually serve God. We don't just give him some lip service. And we're out here to teach our people how to serve him. The problem is you don't know right from wrong. You don't know God. You think you got a concept of it. You think that anything that feels good, anything that's going to make my pockets fatter is of God. It's a damn lie. Selling crack is not of God, man. No matter what the Muslim mosque wants to tell you. Molesting little children is not of God, no matter what the Catholic Church wants to tell you. Right. Give me Job 39 and 13. No. And that's the problem, man. The scripture says you will know them by their fruit. What has the Christian church produced? What kind of fruit? Every drug dealer, every murderer, every homosexual, every woman that can abort her child. Let me tell you something. When you're an Israelite, we don't produce that. Because you cannot do that according to God. Read.
Job 39 verse 13. Gavest thou the goodly wings unto the peacocks, or wings and feathers unto the ostrich?
What you're seeing right here is you're seeing the Most High God comparing the black and Hispanic woman to a peacock, to a bird. Why?
Verse 14. Which leaveth her eggs in the earth, and warmeth them in dust. 15. And forgetteth that the foot may crush them.
And you know what? And that's every black and Hispanic woman that's throwing their babies outside the 7th floor window in the Bronx. That's every black and Hispanic woman that the house is burning down while she went to go get her hair done. That's every black and Hispanic woman that visited Planned Parenthood and killed their babies for $400,000 a year. Read.
Or that the wild beast may break them. She is hardened against her young ones.
And that's you, man. You are hardened against your young ones. It's like there's damn near so much competitiveness between the black woman and her daughter. She don't want to see her daughter rise above her, man. It's terrible. It's sick that you're supposed to love your children, man. Read.
As though they were not hers. Her labor is in vain without fear. Because God hath deprived her of wisdom.
Of what?
Of wisdom.
That's the problem, man. God deprived these black and Hispanic women of wisdom. You got no wisdom. You think if you go get a college degree, that's going to be wisdom. That ain't no damn wisdom. You understand that? Mike Brown was going to college. That didn't stop them from gunning him down in the street for jaywalking. A college education can't save you, man. Just like money couldn't save Lamar Odom. That $75,000 that he wanted to spend in a whorehouse, that ain't save him. Money and education can't save you. I'll tell you what'll save you. The law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. Keep reading.
Neither have been brought to understanding. What time she lived,
He didn't give her understanding either. If you had understanding, you'd know I should not kill my child. I should not lay with the man unless I want to spend the rest of my life with him, because there's a chance I could get pregnant and have a child.
what time she lifted up herself on high, she scorneth the horse and his rider.
And that's the problem. The black and Hispanic woman in America has been lifted above her man. And now she scorns that rider. She scorns that brother from telling her, you can't dress like that. I don't want you leaving the house like this. She scorns that man for trying to discipline his daughters when they make a twerk video, because he doesn't want them growing up to be a whore. She scorns that man by calling the police and lying and saying this, that, and the third to get that man locked up and thrown out of the house. She scorns that man because she doesn't want a man ruling over her. And that's why a lot of you proud women walk past here with shaking your head, shaking your finger, because you don't want a black man to be strong over you. You want something weak and effeminate. You want a damn homosexual, man. Then go to the Christian church.
When nowadays I work hard on the job, and I come across y'all, still like I'm a criminal. Trying to get caught, it could be your first charge. Like, man, you ain't getting the minimum. It gon' dip, squat, 5 mile run, push, pull, sit on, goddamn, get strong. Looking at my baby, trying to keep them doing wrong. It's too long before they grown, I can't leave them on their own. They killed Daddy like he had a 30-day cake. The news covering up the story for what they say. It took me back to the time we lost Otis. Pretending these crackers, they gon' tell you something bogus. And I'm thinking like, damn, what you tell the kids? We tried to put up a fight, but did we fail the kids? Cause they ain't really got us looking like no damn good. And why success got to cost my manhood? They like